You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
Holy moly. I can't even believe it's already another week.
It's another week. A week always goes by quickly for whatever reason, and we're always here to make sure that we catch up and we tell you what's up. So Tuesday, 9 o'clock, it's that time.
I'm still in shock. Wow, when did this already happen? So much, obviously. So much going on. So we just got back from a trip from Vegas over the weekend.
Yep.
Went to go visit your old friend Ludi.
Ludi, what's up, Ludi?
And it was so great to meet her. She's just a wonderful human being. She's so sweet.
Isn't she?
And then we also did we participated in a 7K run that was dedicated to Prince.
Now that was fun. That was something a lot different. See, we already had the trip planned out to go to Vegas, and Dre was like, you know what? I see something out here that looks kind of cool. What if we, and sure enough, we did.
It was such a fun race. So it was dedicated to Prince because it was it's to celebrate right around when his passing was. So to have good memories, this company decided to have a race themed in purple. So people were dressed up like Prince in different costumes and, well, not totally out like costumes, but, they had a good time.
But no, they had a good time. We had a good time. The weather was absolutely perfect. And you happen to have just booked the hotel exactly across the street from the actual event.
I wish I said I planned that.
So that was something that I think was pretty easy for us, even though we kind of drove a little bit in order to get to that spot. But it was fun. It was fun. It was a lot of good times.
So what are we talking about?
All right. So here's interesting. The main topic is going to be something that I had to discuss with one of my best friends, actually my best friend with and the way that he runs his business. And I think, obviously I run it a little bit different, but it's about, we're going to talk about that. But in the relationship section, we are going to discuss about significant others shaming loved ones on social media.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that real quick.
Well, I wonder what. That is so crazy. And then for the entertainment, we're going to talk about one of Zodi's favorites TV shows, The Honeymooners, because The Honeymooners are just hysterical.
This is my
and then really
this
did
is
live
my
the blueprint
show.
for shows.
I'm telling you, we got to just discuss this real quick. It's only a 5-minute segment, but we're going to have to talk about this. And the main topic is, this is what I was talking to my boy Bill about, is a 40-hour work week still the best method for business?
Boring.
40 hours. Is that the best method? So let's get into this. Let's talk about the honeymooners first, because we just got to start and just chat about this real quick.
All right. So describe then how you even came across them when you were a kid.
God, I was about 11 years old or so. My sister always cracks on me about it because I think I was about 11 years old, and I have an old soul at times, but I don't know. It was one of those things where you're up at 11 o'clock at night, and the news came on. Yeah, the news came on. I think at 11 o'clock at night. I think that something like that. Either at 10:30 to 11 to 11:30. But I caught it one day, and then this black and white show comes on. And it's one of those times where you just didn't feel like turning off the TV. And man, I'm gonna tell you, it hit first. It just hit first because it's one of those shows with Jackie Gleason, and it's an ensemble of about 4 people. And it is just so much fun to watch what people do during live TV. And during those times of CBS, there was nobody else to sit there and interrupt. If you got cut off, you got cut off, but, and you improvised. And The Honeymooners was one of those shows. They tried to make a spin-off movie with, black characters, but it just didn't hit at all. If you wanted to check out any of the funniest ones, probably Bronx Bomber, that's when we talking about Harvey, and where Ralph gets into Harvey, and that's where Ralph gets into a situation with a dude who's a lot bigger than him, but cracks on him because of his name, Harvey, until he sees how big he is. Of course, the one with the commercial. All of a sudden, I can't think of the commercial.
Is that the one when he freezes?
Yeah. So Ralph is one of those characters where he's real confident about everything. Whatever, he's cool. He's got a hot, slim wife. He's a big white dude, and he's fat. and he's confident about everything. Every plan, which is a scheme, is always one of those things that's gonna just hit big, make him rich, get him out of the apartment in Bensonhurst, New York, and they're gonna live love. But instead, everything always flops. And one of the things was a commercial that he had done because he bought a product that someone was selling for 10 cents, and he was gonna sell for $1 because he was gonna use TV. All confident in himself until the commercial starts. That's when it just gets real, and he freezes, and just what ensues is just hilarious.
Now, I wasn't a big fan of the honeymooners growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, all right, why is this guy screaming at his wife? He's so
he's threatening
chauvinistic.
He's chauvinistic.
You are stupid. You are so lucky to have that woman as your wife. Why is she putting up with it? But yet, once in a while, I would catch her with some really awesome jabs, and it was witty. But I just never paid attention to it. And then so when we met and you're telling me how much you loved it, I was like, wait a second. I'm like, this sounds like such a macho show. Why would you like it? And when I got to really see the comedy of it, it was pretty funny.
I mean, it was really, 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 really hilarious. It's just one of the funniest shows. It only had one season, one full real season. They had some lost episodes, but it's the 39 original season episodes. And they're all just so hilarious. Like the time that, Ralph... didn't know that Alice, his wife, had bought a dog, and she had the dog food in the refrigerator. But since Ralph didn't know,
That's right.
since Ralph didn't know that they had a dog, he thought that it was some really delicious appetizer, and so he was gonna market it. One of his schemes.
He takes it to his boss.
He takes it to his boss because he has the money to back him, and until one of the people realizes he's feeding him dog food. I mean, it's just hilarious. It's just such a funny premise, and the reactions to everything. And if you're just not a fan, you're just not a fan. But some people who also love shows in the day, maybe like My Three Sons or I Love Lucy, or back then. But the Honeymooners came out in the 50s, and it's one of the inspirations for several other shows. But one in particular, the Flintstones.
Oh yeah, well, it's a blueprint for so many shows now. Think about it. Big guy,
The big guy
kind of
with
goofy, with the hot wife. I mean, I think that's the entire CBS ensemble right there.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it is CBS. Like King of Queens is literally the Honeymooners.
Yes.
King of Queens is the Honeymooners that was updated.
Which makes sense why you like the King of Queens.
I like King of Queens. It's like the same thing. So if you haven't checked it out, I mean, I went and bought on Amazon the 39 episodes DVD a while back, and then I digitized it so I can stream it whenever I want. But man, if you're just in a bad mood, or it's New Year's Eve and you're in New York City and they play it for 24 hours.
They do?
Or not 12 hours. I think it's like 12 hours. But yeah, they have a marathon. Every New Year's Eve, they have a marathon.
Oh, that's cool.
Of the Honeymooners. So my sister catches it every time, and I got her into it. So now she has to relate back to me like, oh my God, guess what episode I'm watching? So if you haven't checked it, that's just my favorite show is The Honeymooners. It's an old TV show, but that's what gives me joy every time. All right. So let's get into this. We want to start this one about relationships, which is significant others shaming loved ones on social media.
Well, I just don't get this. So, and I don't know, maybe it's just my nature. Maybe it's just what I was taught of when you love somebody, you respect them. So it kind of goes back to even before social media was available, right? Like if you're with your loved one and let's say, I don't know, you're in front of family and friends and maybe there's a disagreement you guys have, you kind of go to the side. And you just kind of say, what, let's talk about this later, not in front of everybody. Let's just clear this up between us later when we get home, right? Then you get home and then you yell and you cry and scream and beat it out of each other later on. But
like Ralph Cramden.
But no matter what, though, in front of everybody else, just put your business aside. You don't put that out there in front of everybody. So I think that translates now to social media. I just don't put that kind of business out there, right? So when I see other couples doing that and kind of vague booking about it, pretty much like you said, shaming the loved one. Oh, say someone puts a post like, I wish I get flowers, or I wish I get gifts. He never appreciates me.
Yeah. Tell
and
me,
it's
you
like, everyone,
Come
you're talking about the person you're with. Why can't you just go to them and say, look, give me some flowers, right? No, you're seeking out some type of
validation,
assurance of validation. Like, oh no, so then it's like some people just feed off what the responses are. Like, no, you're an awesome person, you're a wonderful woman, you should put up with that. validating this type of bad behavior. And then what do? How do you think that person, if that person were to do something to you? So let's just say, things were changed, things were flipped. What if he posts something like, man, I wish she just started wearing some sexy stuff. Oh, man, I hate what she wears to bed, man.
No, not even she. It's like, oh, God, don't you hate when somebody, it's even vaguer than that. But it's a direct insult to who you're with, because it's like, now you already can see that the communication is gone.
It's gone,
The
right.
communication is gone because one person is going to be communicating towards all her friends through Facebook. You know who they're talking about. You only have one boy or girlfriend, so we already know who you're talking about.
Or maybe you don't.
And then oh no, we know. And then you're gonna sit there and just shame them about it, like oh, you know what? They don't do this for me. And then you get the people, the friggin' peanut gallery who starts responding back. Oh, you know what? You don't deserve him, or
You're so much better than that.
Oh yeah, you deserve this and that. Oh, if I were with you, shut the hell up. You don't air your dirty laundry out like that. It's for everybody to see and be able to comment to. And so why would you do that in public unless you want that person to leave? Because it's going to do one or two things. Either that person's going to buck up and say, oh, sweetie, whatever, and be a simp about it. Or they're going to say, you know what, screw you with that. All you had to do was come to me. And instead you're going to put that stuff on, like, Facebook, on Twitter. Like, you're going to talk about me publicly.
Right.
So that the next time we have common friends, they know exactly what I don't do or do.
Like, what if we have an argument next time? Like, are you just going to put it out there? Are you going to put all of our business out there? The trust level would be completely removed for me. It would not
for
exist.
what? Because you're not going to pressure me into giving into what you want. So if it's like, he looks at so much porn. Oh, look at this and that, and like he does that, then you know what? I'm going to look at some damn porn then. And I'm going to have a status message that says, yo, I love looking at porn, and my girl is a prude. My girl is a prude.
Attach a clip of it.
Yeah, I swear, My girl is a prude. She doesn't like looking at porn with me. How do you like that? How does that feel then? It's something so silly and so immature to me. And I think, like, have you ever seen this? People listening, have you seen that? Where people vague book about their significant other in a negative in order to shame them in front of their friends. It's something that's ridiculous, and I think that behavior is completely outrageous, and that person who posts needs to either see a shrink or something, because that's not the way that you deal with a relationship.
And would you want them to do that to you? Yeah. What if they did that to you? How would you feel? How would you react? Come on. This is a person that you claim you love?
Yeah. I love you so much that I'm not going to tell you what bothers me, but I will tell Facebook.
I will talk a bunch of crap about you to millions and millions of strangers.
Yeah, just in case, so they can share it, they can open it, they can forward it, and what? Just because after it gets too much burn, then you're going to delete it. It's too late. Cat's out of the bag. You should have learned how to communicate with people.
I don't get it. I don't support it. I don't get it.
Please listen carefully.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Zod.
And I'm Drea.
And we want you to check out the Zod and Drea podcast every Tuesday.
Where can everybody find us at?
You can always check us out on www.zodanddrea.com.
Where else?
You can always check us out also on Facebook at Zod and Drea.
Instagram?
Zod and Drea.
Snapchat?
Zod and Drea.
YouTube?
Zod and Drea.
I see a pattern.
So if you haven't caught that, catch us at Zod and Drea on all the social networks. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Zod and Drea podcast. Where?
At zodanddrea.com.
And also on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're coming for you.
Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to us.
And put all of your input into whatever our topics are for the week. So we hope to check you out and see you there.
Bye.
All right, we're back. We are back. We're going to discuss the 40-hour work week. Are you in the grind? Are you in the grind? Are you listening to this because you had to get up, you had to get dressed, get your coffee, run out the door, drive like 40 minutes to work, and then your 8-hour day starts.
Right. And then if you're a lady, then of course that takes even more time. We got to put on the makeup. We got to get the outfit on. It's not like men where you can just get up like 10 minutes before you got to hit the road and you're good.
No. And even still, you still got that half hour, 40-minute commute. You got whatever. You're still fighting traffic, no matter what you're doing, if it's not a home business or something.
Right.
So, they got to wonder what the 40-hour work week is and why it even exists.
So when did the 40 work week start? Who created this?
There were a couple different methods of people who created it, but one that we know of is we were talking Henry Ford, in 1914. So in 1914, that it was bad for productivity because they had a 48-hour work week on some Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte stuff. So they had
because they were around during that time.
True, they were. It was 48 hours during the week. So they felt that productivity was bad, and he was like, I'm going to make all these cars and do all this other stuff, so let's cut it down to 40 hours.
People are dying while they're working.
Yeah, they're working.
Injured because they're so
killed.
tired.
It's fatigue. It's being tired. So he cut it down to 40 hours, and then the unions kicked in. Once the unions were like, hey, you know what? Let's even make it better. We're going to have the weekends off. We're going to make it a 5-day work week, and we're going to be straight. So it took a while, but it finally kicked into that method. And we're talking, if this started off in like 1914, why are we using such an antiquated system 104 years later at the exact same thing? Is there that nothing has changed?
It's a whole system's now been created. Because think about it. Not only then has a work environment being created by the 40-hour work week, school systems were now completely created around that same type of model.
Yeah. For people, it's the 40-hour work week. This is it. This is 40 hours. This is what you get paid. But it seems like that is, in the industrial world, it seems like the United States seems to be the ones that are holding on to this system a lot. I'm on Quartz Media LLC, where they have the title. The title of this article is actually "Shorter Work Weeks Are Catching On in Europe." America, not so much.
Nope, Americans don't want to let go of stuff.
It's not, and they're saying that shorter work weeks are good for employees, where people who work fewer hours are physically healthier, less prone to depression and heavy drinking, and they're better at mental and social tasks. So, you think about it. If you wind up having a shorter work week, the whole goal of the office job, if that's what you do, is to go into work, go into your office, take your phone calls, your emails, meet up with your team, have your discussion. Seriously, does that take 8 hours a day?
No.
Like seriously, does that, whatever your assignment is, you might have an assignment that lasts a month, sure, but does that take 8 hours to do that in that day where you're crammed in from this? And of course, some people do overtime because they're like, oh, I got this deadline, and more than likely is because they were on social media, goofing off on their cell phone. We were just talking about this.
Right. Or they were pulled into things that are just redundant. A meeting for a meeting about a meeting. Look,
Yes.
That's the one thing I freaking hate.
Oh, yeah, and
Can we meet about a meeting?
meet about a meeting.
And then we're going to meet again about that meeting. I just want to punch someone in the throat after that. And I've experienced both, right? Both going in the office 40-hour week, and then I've also worked remotely. And to me, the remote work environment is the best. It really is the best for me. I'm not, and never was really big on the big social scenes at the office. It just wasn't my thing. So I would do my work and then go. Got to do what I got to do. So I don't seek that type of engagement. I don't seek that type of relationships in the office. The ones that I do create, they're with me for life, right?
Yeah.
Like the people that I care about that I met at an office, it's not because then, we're only going to be friends because we work in the same place. No, I like you as a human being, and I'm going to keep you around. Shout out to Lucy and Aya Mitchell and Sylvia Hogan. You guys have been my girls for like 20 years, back in the day.
And you do that. Like my boy Roy Schuler, back when I used to work an office job back in 1996 to 1998, Maria Santora, Lynn. It's funny how the women, their names all changed since then.
Oh, the last names.
The names. I don't want to say Lynn Runye. I mean Lynn Garofeld.
That's awesome.
I was going to say I was like Maria Cantori Santora. Yeah, exactly. And a bunch of other people that a bunch of other people that I still communicate with and that are Facebook friends. All this time later, if I left in '98, we're talking about 20 years. I left that company, and then I've been working for myself. And these people still exist in my life. So yeah, it's like I'm glad for the work ethic and everything else. And you remember I was like, oh my God, look who just friended me on LinkedIn. It was like Glenn Sistia, But you can develop that, and the development, you're right, isn't as good if you work from home, because it's almost like being homeschooled. You're homeschooled. You probably don't have that many friends. Your parents are gonna have to take you to certain functions so you can make friends. but work week does 40. I mean, is 40 hours actually the best thing for the United States? The average work week now, at least from 2014, is France, which is 28.33 average work week. Germany 26.37, Italy 33.35, Japan 33.25. So Italy and Japan are almost the same at 33 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Korea just lowered. Korea had recently lowered theirs. They were busting their humps. But they just lowered theirs down to 40 hours. South Korea. So
Really?
they were going hard. They were like 48 hours, something like that, between 41 and 48 hours. And they reduced it in 2014. So they're even going down. Mexico is 42, Spain 32, United Kingdom 32. So like Spain, United Kingdom, Russian Federation is 38. So it's like, what is the United States? They say it's average 34, but I think that's because they must have like taken some other people that are in.
Mhm.
But there's still people who adopt the 40-hour work week so much in the United States compared to other people, and we just haven't changed our stuff in like 100 years. And a century is just a long time to me.
Right, and it's not like these are countries that aren't performing well economically, right?
No.
These aren't non-thriving areas. They're doing well. Example: CNN Money list for the Netherlands is the average hours per week about 29, average annual wages, again average about 48,000, right?
Mhm.
They have a 4-day work week, and it is nearly standard in the Netherlands. And with that too, the 86% of the employed mothers work 34 hours or less each week.
Wow.
34 hours, right? And among fathers, about 12% also worked a shortened work week.
See, that's what they do over there because they want you to bond with your family.
Yes.
They find that family bonding is something that is crucial in bringing everything a culture back in not about to the United States into their country that sustains them a lot harder. It's
Yep.
it
It promotes that balance.
It promotes a balance. It promotes love, life, happiness. When you over here, it's like, hey, congratulations! They pass out some cigars at work while the wife just had a baby last night, and you're back in the grind.
Right, I gotta pay now the
I gotta
bills
pay the
and
bills,
stuff.
and she gets off like 2 weeks.
Right, and then because like with the Netherlands, they create this whole ecosystem supporting the family, and like a law passed and then again I'm just going to spotlight them just really quickly. A law passed in 2000 also gives workers the rights to reduce their hours to a part-time schedule while keeping their job hourly pay, health care, and pro-rated benefits.
Yeah,
Like that's amazing.
it is.
You live longer, you can produce better. I mean, it just makes sense.
And of course, Amazon is starting to hire a lot more people. I think it was on Mother, Flex
Mom's
Jobs,
Jobs or
yeah,
something?
something like Mommy Jobs, something like that. Anyway, Amazon is going to wind up hiring 5,000 new jobs, so that people can work from home.
I mean, think about it. For a company like Amazon or any other big manufacturing company or just a larger company, it makes sense to save money on infrastructure. It makes sense because this way you're not having to build a facility to house all these employees. That's extra money spent. And you can get employees from anywhere, let's say across the United States, if it's a plan to work across from home in different time zones. This way, again, you're not having to deal with, okay, do we got to get parking for this person? Do we got to, we got to create a building that is handicap accessible? Like, you just don't have to deal with that stuff.
And I know a lot of it's probably temporary work, whatever, but, in order to get an income in that can probably wind up bouncing you up higher on a corporate ladder if you do a really good job, it's a lot of these are coming in. Even I think, aren't some of the, what are the call centers? Don't some of those things you can work from home with? I believe some call centers. I don't think you have to go.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to always go into the office if that's what you want to do. You just get the call on your phone and you start handling it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. How else can you call some American company and someone has a deep accent named Ken,
right?
Who has a hardcore accent?
And it's not like companies can't monitor you when you're at home. I mean, when you work from home, you are logging into their system.
You can have a CRM, yeah.
Yeah. They can track you when you've logged in, when you've logged out. There's even different messaging systems and internal messages where it'll show, are you available? Are you in a meeting? Like, there's ways, if you're really that kind of manager and you want to monitor every single moment of your employees, you still can do that while they work from home. They just don't have to deal with the at least 4 hours that are wasted on prepping to get to work, the drive, And that kind of stress, because let's face it, how many times then I know I've gone into the office where it's like, oh my gosh, I almost got into an accident. Something almost hit me on the drive over here. Or I'm late
Yeah, that's true.
to be in a meeting because I was stuck in traffic. That is 4 hours usually out of my day that is dedicated just to that back and forth. I don't understand it.
Back in 2015, Forbes, now this is Forbes, had an article that said why the 40-hour work week is dying.
Mm-hmm.
So even they know that it's dying. And like my conversation with my friend is, to me, it's a dying method. It's nothing that's going to sustain for the next, 20 years, really. I don't even think 20 years. That people are going to have to come into the office, work 40 hours a week, and then, on Friday at the end of the day, you're done. Meanwhile, you miss, think about everything that you miss.
Mm-hmm.
So in the morning, the sun comes up. You actually spend your entire daytime working. So you're in an office, like work. You're looking through the window. Oh my God, what a beautiful day that I can't even experience. Like the stress can start right there.
Right.
Okay, fine. You go out for lunch for 15 minutes because you got to go get your food. You got to dinner, and finally you get to sit out. And then 15 minutes is over. You got to go back into your job. After you're throwing out the trash, go to the bathroom, then you're back in the office, you're back in your, doing whatever you're doing. Or you skip, some people skip lunch. Or I remember when I was working at the office, there was this one lady who was my boss who would eat lunch at her desk every day
Mm-hmm.
because she just wanted to catch up on work. I'm like, Jesus, is this your life? Like, this is your life? Like, work is your life. Where do you get time to just have that fun and just experience the rest of your life? And I mean, when you really estimate the time that people spend at work, so even if you sleep 8 hours, and you work 8 hours, and you have let's say a 2-hour commute back and forth, plus getting ready, like that's already what 16, 17, 18 hours. Like, I mean, that's a lot of hours that you don't get to enjoy that day because you just have to work because it's a grind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a grind. And how is happiness? Who knows? I think it was Google. I can't remember. Who was trying a project where you can take like less hours, you just get paid less.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of 40 hours, you pay like 30 hours, but your salary just drops down a little bit more. I bet more people would probably do that if they had that, because now I have time to be able to do this,
Mm-hmm.
this, and this. I can, I don't have to wait for the cable man to when they have their hours from from 8 to 4, and then you have to wait at home all day.
But there's obviously a population of workers that do want that structure. Either they were raised around that mindset of, got to be in an office 9 to 5.
They're also dying out.
And so there's some people, there's obviously a population that is almost needing that structure and almost would freak out if they didn't have that, wouldn't know what to do. I think they're the ones that think that, if I work from home, I'm going to watch a lot of TV and I'm not going to be working. Actually, I find that if you work from home, you're more dedicated. And I do notice I'll work longer hours.
I'll work longer hours because I
Mm-hmm.
work from home. So I will work all night.
Right.
And then some, because I'm like, okay, but at least I'll be able to enjoy the day.
Right. I
And
can go work out.
I'm happier. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a lot happier than if I had to be in a prison cell. But real quick, the threats to productivity, according to this Forbes, is burnout,
Mm-hmm.
less individual efficiency, because not everybody works the same, less creative stimulation. That was my problem, and I had to dress in a suit. How are you going to design and dress in a suit in 8 hours? More distractions. So collecting everyone together for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week might seem like encourages more collaboration, but reality is it opens the door to more distractions.
And that's for me. I have ADHD and I get distracted very easily.
And lastly, it's no natural response. For most businesses, work comes and goes. There are busy periods and slow periods. Applying for a 40-hour structure year-round means your employees will have long periods of boredom in the office.
Not damn right.
Yep. I don't know. I just think I wouldn't want to work like that. That's just me, though.
This is just an ask for corporate America. Look at being flexible. Get rid of your pride and your power handle and let employees just be human beings, and you'll see. You give them, you treat them like adults, they will produce.
But tell us what you think. Make sure you follow us on @ZodAndrea. On all of the social medias, go to www.zodandrea.com and make sure you subscribe to everything that we're on, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, as well as some of the other formats that we do our podcasts on, such as iTunes and Google Play.
And if you are any of those relationships, like we said, let's say that your loved one Facebooks.
All right.
What
Be
happened?
out.